Okay, that was the question earlier. How do I stay focused in the game, not look at anything else besides the game and match? So what I found best, I've been doing this really recently, is dopamine. It's all about dopamine, man. Dopamine really helps with focus and motivation. Andrew Huberman, really good podcaster, neuroscientist, I believe. He's got a lot of videos about motivation, dopamine, focus. One of the best things I've been doing recently, because I've been on NoFap for like fucking forever, dude. Like I've been doing that shit forever, but I would still stimulate dopamine like crazy with like YouTube shorts, scrolling on YouTube, whatever it is, texting people, yada yada. I'd really stimulate my dopamine like crazy, and I would, my dopamine would drop because I'm not fucking beat my meat no more or watching porn, but I'm still stimulating other ways. And so what he talks about is how to make your work, like you have to realize that the work itself and playing the game itself is the reward. There is no reward after it. And so like when you're able to play the game and actually enjoy the game and like feel fulfilled while playing it and not worry about the win or loss, you're able to focus way better. And the way to do that, he says simply, is to not spike your dopamine before playing and not spike your dopamine after playing. And obviously he doesn't say playing because he's talking about work, but we're applying this to Counter-Strike here. Don't spike your dopamine before you play. Don't watch YouTube, don't watch TikTok, don't be fucking sexting people, watching porn, beating your meat. Grow up, man. Don't be doing that shit, all right? It's making you not hit face at level 10 because you keep on beating your meat, okay? Don't be doing that. And then don't do that after, because if you do it before, now you already spiked your dopamine. Your dopamine is like a searching chemical. Like it's a process chemical. It's like you wanting to complete something. It's not the actual feel-good chemical itself. It's you in the process of completing something. So if you don't spike your dopamine, now you actually get a raise in dopamine by playing itself. And so playing becomes enjoyable. If it's enjoyable, you have a sense of play within it, you're able to focus way better. You can do this with aim training, you can do this with playing itself, demo watching, whatever it is. Try not to peak your dopamine. Like what he says is like to be really cautious of your dopamine peaks and guard them. Guard your dopamine peaks because they control your motivation and how focused you can get. And then don't do it after, because if you constantly spike your dopamine after you're done playing, while you're playing, your dopamine levels are below baseline because you're so used to spiking them at the end that you're just waiting for this game to be over so you can go do whatever it is, beat your meat, whatever it is, right? If you don't spike your dopamine after or before, you get your dopamine spike by playing. So when you're playing, you're in the zone, you're loving it, and there's no way not to focus. Good way to do this is just to avoid things that are dopaminergic. YouTube shorts, TikTok, porn, beating your meat, edging, eating food, nicotine, basically anything that's an addiction or like coping mechanisms, right? Watching TV shows, very dopaminergic. Just avoid things that are along those lines of, they're usually like never ending, right? Bag of chips, never ending. TikTok, never ending, constantly scrolling. TV shows, never ending. Things that aren't dopaminergic is like YouTube, or not YouTube, I mean longer form YouTube videos, podcasts, right? They're longer, but it's not like you're waiting for like a finish. Like there is always a conclusion to those. Movies too, those aren't dopaminergic because there's a finish. But if you watch a TV show, once the show's over, you want to watch the next episode. So you're constantly searching. When you finish a TikTok, you want to scroll to the next one. Really guard your peaks in dopamine, and you'll find it way easier to focus if this becomes your sense of enjoyment. And that's why I've talked about this before. Was like the time in silence of just sitting by yourself. Just do that, man. Like seriously, just fucking sit in silence. It's so refreshing, honestly. Like you reset your dopamine levels. It makes you want to grind the game more, and then you get to address a lot of emotional needs that were unaddressed, or you get to relax if that's what you actually need. You actually need rest. Because people still need a rest. You need a rest like every 30 to 90 minutes. Just let your brain fucking zone out. Just let it zone out. But yeah, another thing too with focusing is your focus is relative. So it's kind of about like alertness levels. That's what I found out too. I think Wes Proder talks about this. Andrew Huberman, that's where I mainly got it from. I think Wes Proder also watches Andrew Huberman a lot. But it's relative, right? Let's say your mind's running wild, right? You keep on overthinking. Let's say you're trying to aim train. You're overthinking. Listening to music would actually probably help you aim train because it's taking your focus away from whatever you're over focusing on. And now you're focusing on the music. Now you're not over analyzing your game, and you're actually able to play better. Like sometimes I'll notice that me actually talking to someone makes me aim train better because I was already overthinking my movements in the aim. It changes on a day-to-day basis. So if you find that some days you'll find you play better or you aim practice better while listening to music, and some days you don't. And you just got to figure out what day you're on. It's all about your alertness levels. If you're too tired, not listening to music while playing or while aim training is going to make you play worse, because now you're trying to stay awake. You're almost falling asleep. So that listening to music is going to keep you awake. It's going to stimulate you. If you're too awake, listening to music is just going to feed into that. You kind of want to just like let it be quiet so you can focus on just the game. If that makes sense. It's relative in that aspect of it's all about alertness levels and how alert you are. If you're under alert, you want to do things that make you more alert. And if you're over alert, you want to do things that balance you out to like a nice middle ground of alertness. Oh yeah, another thing too, talking about focus, what Andrew Huberman also talks about too, because I think I've talked about this before about flow state. He also says like when you're anytime doing like motor skills or any type of work, you don't actually want to chase the flow state. You want to chase intense focus, which doesn't include flow state. Flow state is kind of something that just happens like if everything goes well. Like say you're aim training, start hitting all the fucking dots, you just start hitting everything. People are like, oh my god, I'm in flow state. You can't expect to hit flow state all the time. There's an element of variance to flow state. What you want to chase is like intense focus and intense work, right? When you're grinding, like you want to put all your focus into whatever you're working on. If you're studying a demo, if you're playing a team practice, you're doing your aim training, you want to put all your focus into that. And the other thing you want to chase is intense rest afterwards, because that's when the neuroplasticity happens. That's when your brain makes changes. So after team practice, you had your intense focus, and then afterwards just go lay down and just zone out. Let all that information just seep in. Don't overstimulate yourself afterwards. Let your dopamine levels reset to baseline and just fucking zone out, and your brain will apply everything you just fucking learned and you won't forget it. If you're constantly stimulated, you never get that intense rest and you can never get that deep focus. You need to have like a nice balance of that shit. So to add on to this video, when I talk about deep rest and intense focus, deep rest is known as NSDR, which is non-sleep deep rest. And you can achieve this through meditation, taking a nap, just zoning out, just where you like just fucking let your brain just chill, okay? So that helps with neuroplasticity and recovering from intense focus. It also helps with resetting your dopamine levels to baseline. Another thing you do too, you don't always have to like fucking zone out after you spike your dopamine or whatever. If you just want to reset your dopamine levels to baseline, just like wait and do something monotonous. It could be cleaning your room or doing the dishes, something that's like not super dopaminergic, and that'll help reset your dopamine levels back to baseline so you like have motivation to do whatever it is that you want to do the rest of the day. It's all about like peaking your dopamine and then allowing yourself to be bored. Like that's the biggest lesson I learned from Andrew Huberman, is just like pretty much just allow yourself to be bored, man. And by doing so, you'll be able to enjoy the peaks of dopamine in life way more. Hanging out with friends will be more fun. Playing with your dog is more fun. Talking to people is actually enjoyable. If you're like constantly stimulating yourself, even in healthy ways, he talks about like if you're night out with the friends, and then you're going snowboarding the next day, and then you're skiing the next day, and then you're jumping off a cliff the next day. Like that sounds like a really fulfilling life, but you're still constantly spiking your dopamine, and you're not allowing time for yourself to be bored, for your dopamine levels to reset back to baseline. Once you're done with that whole streak of just fun, your dopamine levels are just like so far below baseline that there's actually like a pain to it. Like your body registers pain. So just like the biggest lesson of this is just allow yourself to be bored. You can be doing monotonous things. And if you really want to go ham, like with that, dabble with some NSDR, some deep rest, take a nap, zone out, and you're basically accomplishing two things at once: being bored and also recovering from the intense focus. That's pretty much this whole thing summed up. Hopefully that makes sense. If you want to dive more into this information, go check out Andrew Huberman. He's got like so many fucking videos about this stuff. I can't explain it near at the same level as he can. I'm just explaining what I've learned from him. So make sure to check him out. Also make sure to check out Wes Proter. He's an AIM YouTuber. He talks about these similar things as well. Also, real quick, for my avid supporters, like for everyone who like really wants to support this channel, I've had a lot of people come to my Twitch or even comment on my YouTube videos saying that they can't sub to my Twitch. I'm probably not gonna like ever go affiliate with Twitch or ever partner with them. Fuck Twitch, man. Fuck Twitch. YouTube has set up channel memberships, and I've been tweaking with these, working with these, trying to get these things set up. So far, I've come up with like 3 different tiers for supporting the channel, and I'm trying to give actual benefits for signing up for these tiers. I don't want to be like some of these like big Twitch streamers that have like $60 a month subs that give you like extra emotes. I feel like that's just bullshit, man. I want to actually like provide something with these things. So what I've come up so far with is access to certain VODs from streams. If you guys have any criticisms or tweaks or things you think I should also add on to these memberships, be sure to let me know. Not all this shit is super set in stone. I really want to provide something with these memberships besides fucking emotes, you know? So if you have any criticism, be sure to let me know. And if you're interested, click the join button right next to subscribe and check out the benefits, and give what you can, man. I appreciate anything that you guys are able to give. Seriously, man, it really does make a difference. But yeah, that's for all my avid supporters. Much love, y'all. Thank you so much. Love y'all. Peace.